Yeah, thanks. Hey, welcome. Yeah, so the topic is Mentorship Matters. Here's kind of going to be the flow. I'll first do a self intro, then I'll give you a definition of mentorship, mentor. Yeah. Hello. Little soft. Okay. I'll channel my teacher voice that I don't have. So is there a way? Oh, sure. So yeah, this is. I'm trying. I have two mics, one for my camera, one for this. I'm trying to not get feedbacks. But yeah, okay. So yeah, so I'll restart. This will be the flow of the talk. First, I'll do a self intro, then I'll go over some definitions about mentorship, mentor, and then I'll also go into 3 practical steps for how to initiate a mentorship relationship, and then hit some of the benefits. After that, I'll go over some personal examples, and then lastly, I'll leave some time for question and answer. So, about myself, these are my special interests, so let me know if you also like them. Speed cubing, rock climbing, running, climbing, and traveling. Okay, good deal. Sweet. I have a cube. We'll play after. And then my hyperfixation of the month this month is aviation. So if you like airplanes, also talk to me. Nice, nice. My preferred communication style is writing. Okay, so that's a little bit about myself. Now, about the definition, let's look over some of the textbook definitions for mentorship and mentor. Merriam-Webster dictionary defines mentorship as influence or guidance or direction given by a mentor. So what is a mentor? A mentor is a trusted counselor or guide. So, but I want to add some context. I'll be speaking specifically in the context of professional or academic, so school or work. Although there are other kinds of mentors you can have in your life. Now, to add some more nuance to the textbook definitions, I think if you think of mentorship as a self-investment, you might get more out of it because mentorship is what you make it. If you put a little bit of effort into it, you'll probably gain a little bit out of it. If you decide, hey, I really want to see myself improve and I'm going to get someone to get on that journey with me, you'll most likely see a lot of growth in that. And then the second thing is the cycle of mutual empowerment. So that can go in both ways. You and your mentor can exchange skill sets. They give you, let's say, corporate wisdom for how to survive office politics, and then you give them tech skills. Maybe you're younger, more savvy, and more technical. So that's one cycle of mutual empowerment. Another way could be you just got out of school, you're pretty new, you're wanting to go into the workforce. That mentor is more senior than you in terms of year, experience, status, whatever. So they're going to give you some tips and tricks to make your early career easier. And in return, maybe you don't have something to give back, and that's okay, but you can pass it down. So what they pour into you, you can pour into someone else, and that someone else can pour into someone else. So it just becomes a cycle of people helping each other. Now, I'll start with the practical steps for initiating a mentorship relationship. So the first of which is research. So I have it divided by the top 2 are more digital experience. If let's say, I don't know, you want to get into graphic design, you've never done it before, you're a newly grad, okay, you can Google search and see, is there a graphic design community near me or that I can attend virtually? And after that, maybe you landed on a website that is like, hey, there's a graphic design conference. And then you see the speaker list and you decide, hey, this speaker looks really appealing, I would like their guidance. Okay, go to the next step. You can go to LinkedIn. LinkedIn is specifically a social media platform that was made for professionals to network with each other. If you get on there, you'll typically see their names, their titles, their locations, and also their work history and their credentials, their schooling, things like that. So that kind of already gives you an idea, okay, maybe this is the path I'll take toward being a graphic designer. So maybe you can find them on LinkedIn and you can just send out like an outreach and say, hey, I found you on the internet. I'm interested in breaking into this industry. Could you give me advice? So that would be the flow. If let's say you're not into the digital world, no worries. You can still find people in your community. So for example, I found the autism community through Google search and I was like, hey, there's a symposium. So then that's my first event I ever attended back in 2022 or 2023. And so you can observe from a distance just to see Do I think I'll vibe well with this community or not? Do I like the people? Do I like how it's ran? What are the policies? Things like that. And then you might also pick up like, this human goes to this event a lot. And they are telling me to go to another event. So just naturally, you start to find more communities and more network through that way. The last thing I have is suss out intents. I think this is really important because while you can find someone that looks really good on paper, but if they're not a good person or they don't fit your needs, maybe don't pursue it. But if you think, hey, this person looks good on paper and they're nice, okay, then you might have a potentially a really satisfying relationship out of that. So that's just for the research. Second step is communication. Now, it can be broken down to these two steps. The first of which is outreach. You can't just expect someone to come to you and be like, let me mentor you, without knowing what you need, what you want. And so you kind of have to take that maybe 5 seconds of vulnerability to just spam someone. So that's why I have cold email, cold call, cold message. After all the Google search, all the LinkedIn search, you might have found their email, and you can just send out an email and just say, hey, you don't know me, but here's what I need, here's what I want. Would you like to join me in that? Yeah?
So what's the meaning by cold email?
Cold email, yeah. So it's just like straight up to a random person. They're not expecting of it, is how I would define it, right? And you can, pick your format. If you prefer written form, email them. If you prefer calling, call them if you can find their phone number, or message them through like LinkedIn or Facebook, wherever you found them. So yeah, that's the first step. And then the next thing is a risk or reward model. I will touch that in like 4 or 5 slides to come. The second step is, let's say you reached out and they decide to engage. Great, you got them hooked. Now you have to figure out how to keep that relationship. So once they decide to walk alongside you and help you achieve your goal or what, aspirations, you should also think about ways to give them like encouragement. So that could be through gratitude cards or messages, and also share your successes along the way, tiny or small, small or big. So, for example, if let's say you found a mentor, you're struggling with office politics, you ask them, "Hey, here's kind of the situation. Can you give me your perspective?" And then after that, you can say, "Hey, thanks for your perspective. Here's how it resolved itself." Or if let's say you're trying to apply for a job and you say, "Hey, can you do a mock interview with me? Let's set up a 30-minute on the calendar." They say, "Sure." And once you go through that, and you have your interview on Monday, and then you can say, "Hey, thanks for giving me practicing interview with me. I had my interview on Monday. So here's how it went." This feedback is nice because they're investing in you. So if you just let them know how they've helped you out, it encourages them to continue to support you. So yeah. Now I'm gonna go annotate into some of my own cold messaging. So, like I said, I prefer my preferred communication style is writing. So I'm going to read each one of them. Then I'm going to extract the pattern that I want to share, like the formula. So first, on the top left corner, hello, Mr. Rusk. My name is Claire. I'm a senior graduating in May. I'm studying political science, but I'm interested in going into IT and data analysis. So far, I've begun to build a portfolio for Python SQL. I'm also in the process of obtaining an IBM certificate. Could you please mentor me? Now, the second one below that, hi, Raghunandan. I'd like to network with you and hear your perspective on working at company, this location. Could we schedule to talk for 15 minutes, please? Thank you. To the right, it's a little similar to the left, but I just added more fluff. Hi, Alinea. My name is Claire Kraft. I'm quite interested in a few opportunities that your company has to offer, particularly the data scientist position located in location. After doing some research, I came across your profile on LinkedIn. Would you have a few minutes to connect? I would like to learn more about company's culture, opportunities, and hiring process. I would also love to hear about your experience at company. I hope to hear from you soon. And then this last one on the left corner, it's the shortest. It just says, it was great to connect with you today and learn about ETAT, which is enabling tech or assistive tech. So yeah, the pattern that I want to maybe draw for you guys is that, as you can see, everything set with the exception of this bottom left, it starts with hello title. You can be as formal as you want, hello, Mr., Dr., Mrs., whatever, or you can just say hello, first name. Then introduce yourself. You can give your whole government name. My name is Claire Kraft, or you can just say my name is Claire. Then after that, The order doesn't really matter, but you should be pretty transparent about what you need. So for the very top left, I said, I'm trying to pivot from political science into IT, make that clear. Then I added some context and said, okay, here are some steps I took just so they know where to meet me. The middle section, the left, I told him, his was pretty short. I was just like asking him to tell me insights about his company that I was wanting to go into. And then the last thing of the formula is a call to action. So being very specific what you need. For Mr. Rusk, I said, could you please mentor me? Kind of vague, but I've already made it known that I need mentorship in IT. He was the director of IT. And then Raghunandan, I said, I want just 15 minutes of your time. When you can quantify things like that, then they can anticipate like, okay, I can give you 15 minutes. Sure, I'll engage in that. But if you just say, oh, help me, that's a little too broad. They don't know what they're signing up for. So be specific, be transparent about what you need help with and how they can help you. With Linea, it was way more specific. I said, I want to just scope out everything about your company. Everything from the culture to the hiring process to what are my odds, and also hear about your personal work life. Because it's one thing to understand the company, it's another thing to understand how the IC, like individual contributors, feel about working at that company. And then for hers, I also dress it up with, I hope to hear from you soon. I would love to hear about your experience, just as a way of try to like make the invitation softer. Now, I'll go over some of the maintenance conversations. Now it's a little different. It's way more tailored. It's a little less formulaic because depending on what that mentor is doing for you, that messaging will be different. And also you have to learn their personalities, you have to learn their boundaries, you have to learn their communication style, blah, blah, blah. So on the very left, I have a Blue Cross Blue Shield resume review. So this is how I got into my first Blue Cross job. I said, hey, Billy, how does the resume look now? I took your suggestion. Here are the results. So I called the director of AI and data science at Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee today, and we had a great conversation. I wrote down 5 questions and asked him. So this is after he and I had already gone back and forth. I'm trying to show him, hey, I respected your opinion. I took it. I implemented it. What do you think of the resume now? And also, while I'm at it, let me give you an update. This is part of the encouraging them. Hey, while we're going through over the resume, let me tell you, I had a great conversation with the AI of the department I'm trying to get into. So that's that one. The middle one's a lot shorter. It's for my grad app. So I said, hey, Vanessa, thanks for your willingness to edit my essay. I finally reduced the word count to sub 1,000. Here's a link to my Word doc. Please help out. So with this one, I intentionally made it very direct and very short because she has a lot of things happening because she's an admin at work. So I thought, okay, let me try to be very clear to the point what I need. And I chose her specifically for this kind of essay review because she herself does grant writing. So like that's her profession, writing. And the third one is the most personalized one. So it says, hey, Denise, congrats on this personal thing you told me about. Are you enjoying this personal thing you told me about? Quick updates on my end. And I just like bullet point some items. This is more of a stylistic thing. I don't want to write an essay for you. You don't want to read my autobiography. So I just said, decide not to go through with the patent. Starting now, LLC, school is kicking my ass, then Starting in May, I'll be traveling too. And then the last one's kind of cheeky because I really wanted her to respond. I said, I watched some of your lectures and saw you had a Rubik's Cube on the bookshelf. Do you play? It's one of my special interests, hoping that that'll get her to engage. So anyways, as you can see, each of these messaging is very much tailored to the relationship I have with each of the individuals. Okay, and then the third step is to go deep. Let's say you got them, they decide to engage with you, and they're willing to maintain this relationship with you. In order for this relationship to also be meaningful, I think you should probably have these kind of mindsets. So the first is be ready to be vulnerable. And so the discretion is on you. How much do you want to overshare? How much do you want to undershare? And then, so vulnerability can be like, hey, I really suck at this thing, or I feel insecure about this thing. And if they're the right person, they're already saying, I want to help you and have the best interest in you. So you should see if you can trust them with that level of vulnerability, and hopefully they can honor that. Next thing, be honest about your intentions and needs. So that was from the very start. When you're doing an outreach, you let them know what you need help with and what you want. Oops. And the next one is be good with boundary setting. So let's say you have a mentorship. I guess it doesn't matter if it's virtual or in person, but you're going to have to figure out what is the preferred communication style, what kind of agendas do you want to talk about. Um, yeah, so just with any relationship, you have to figure out what your boundary settings are for each dynamic. The next thing is be more logical than emotional, because mentorship is transactional. So if, let's say, they give you a critique or feedback that you don't like, which is valid. If you feel hurt, you feel hurt. But just know that if they are here for you, they're probably saying it with your best interest in mind. So, and then that goes back to the whole vulnerability. You can say, "Hey, that hurt me, but hey, you're valid here," right? So, yeah, just let them give you the expertise and wisdom, and then you take on the um, open mindedness mindset, and see how far you can really grow. So yeah, that's fixed mindset versus growth mindset. The next two things are be gracious. And being gracious can look in two ways. Obviously, you can say, "Hey, thank you for helping me in this way." You can also be gracious in giving them the benefit of the doubt. People are people. They will probably hurt you. They will probably fail in some ways. They might not meet you every which way. But that's where, if you know that their interest is best for your interest, then think about the intention as well, because there's intention, there's impact. So give them some slack, give them some leniency. Be teachable. I think this is really important to have, because if you're just focused and locked in on, no, this is how I want to be, and you're very defensive, why would they want to help you? If every time they tell you like a tip or criticism, but you are very resistant to that, they might not be willing to help you anymore. Here are some of the benefits. Self growth, that's obvious. You have your own goal, you ask them to help you meet that goal. You also get a sense of purpose. And so that can be like what I say with cycle of empowerment, right? You can either trade wisdoms or you can pass the wisdom down. And so, yeah, that's the sense of purpose. Next one is wider social network or community. Let's say you have a mentorship relationship. You're talking, you decide, "Hey, I want to grow in this way." And they say, "Well, I don't know much about it, but I know someone else that knows something about it." Already you have, they're helping you take care of that first step of the whole, like, researching for someone and cold emailing, cold calling, because now you have one hop. They'll introduce you to them, which is kind of nice. So think of it like a spider web, it just kind of multiplies. Confidence booster. This will happen from the very start. As you're like figuring out how you want to outreach to people, you'll notice you're going to start to template your own communications. You might recycle some of your like emails or messages, and as you do it more and more, you might feel clumsy in the beginning, but you'll just get more natural at it, and so that gives you the confidence boost. Like, "Hey, I can find people that can help me. This is great." You can also gain wisdom. So that can be industry wisdom, meaning, let's use a graphic design, for example. If, let's say, you want to break into that industry, people can say, "Hey, you should join this conference, or you should go get this certification, or you should get this tool to help you become a graphic designer." So you get that industry wisdom. You can also get EI, which is emotional intelligence. So this is more if you get a mentor that helps you navigate the social world or the office politics. Um, and then the next thing is like life in general. Because your mentors are probably older than you in age, they've had more time on this earth, so they can give you perspective that you could never think of, because you only have had so many days on earth. So yeah, don't discredit that. Soft skills. Yeah, so like your communication will get better. You'll find your own communication style, and also negotiation. And it's as simple as, let's pick a date to meet up, and then let's figure out the cadence. Once a week, once a month, once a year, once a quarter, whatever. You figure that out. Also, you can say, "Do I want to do it virtually on a phone call, Teams, Zoom or do I want to do it in person? Do I want to go to a restaurant? Do I want to go to a coffee shop? So you have to do all these like logistical talk with your mentor. And boundary kind of goes into that. Maybe you say, yeah, we met up. Okay, but these are the things I want to talk about in this conversation. So let's not stray away from it. If we do, then it's up to either of you to say, hey, I want to stay focused on this. And then the other one, a nice added bonus is that sometimes your mentorships will flow into friendship if you outgrow your mentorship or if you realize we just jive really well. And so, yeah, that could be something else. The last one I have is practice interviewing. It's like a very specific example. Instead of paying money for like, I don't know, a consultant, you can just ask your friend, hey, let's do a role play. You be the interviewer, I'll be the interviewee. Give me live feedback about how I did. Okay, now I'm gonna go over the personal examples. I'll start with Billy, the guy in the middle, because I met him when I was a kid. Um, Billy is someone that was actually my role model. He's really just an incredible person, like very humble, very intelligent, like high achieving. And so I thought, okay, I can't sleep on this. I must reach out to him. So I reached out to him. He started out as my academic advisor. So I was like in high school, middle school, he was walking me through what the college application process might look like. And then after college, he was also there for me when I was doing my early career. So he has many years in experience in corporate world, and he's pretty senior up in corporate world. So he helped me there. So yeah, he also did essay, resume review. He did the mock interview. The next person is Vanessa. She and I actually we met each other through a mutual connection at church. And so I didn't reach out to her. She didn't reach out to me. But one thing she offered was, hey, I'll FaceTime call you. It was during COVID time. So she said, I'll do check ins with you while you're at school. And then because she has background and expertise in writing, she became one of my primary resume and essay reviewer. Some of the things that I really appreciate about her qualities are that she's patient, she's level headed, she's just like wise. Like she's the type that gives me like life wisdom. So just very chill, gives me reality check, which is really nice. Um, and then Kristen, she and I met. Actually, we first met at the Symposium, 2022 or 2023. But yeah, so she works at the same company as me, and she was the one that I realized, wow, I see you like at every disability event, and you work at my company. Maybe you could be helpful in letting me know what are some of the resources. And so I reached out to her when I was burnt out. And then she helped with resume review, mock interview. Yeah, so that's that. Okay, now I'll open the time for question and answer. So thank you. Mm. What? Yeah. What I? Yes, I would. Yeah, I think especially for autistics, it's one way of self-advocating. Yes, you have your family, but I don't. Not everyone has a luxury of a supportive family, and so instead of having just one, like having one, I guess one group of people that you can count on, you can go out and have your own network based on your own needs. Oftentimes, I see, especially with family too, they project onto you the expectation for you, right? So they could be the reason that you don't grow, or they could be well, there are some families that are just very stifling. So I'm saying you as an autistic individual, you have your own agency. Go find someone that is willing to support you. And so, yeah, it doesn't have to be in the family. And sometimes family are the ones that are the least supportive. So go find your own support. Mm. Yeah, I think, well, the prerequisite, which I should have hit, was that I'm assuming you know a little bit about yourself. You have some self awareness. If you don't have self awareness, you're probably not going to be able to articulate what you want, what you need. And if you can't communicate that across, that someone else will not be able to meet you where you are. So really think about for yourself that you're a whole human. You can have your own life. You can speak for your own life. If you think about your desires, and then, yeah, you go from there. So self awareness is a short answer. Yeah, Canva, sponsored by Canva. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah.